Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk and thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. It's a box which I've sized to fit a 4-inch tall pillar candle, and the lid comes off. It's nice and sturdy, and if you stay with me I will show you how I made it. Here are the things that I'm going to be using in my project today. I've got a piece of fresh fig card and I've cut that to 11 inches by 7. And I have another piece of fresh fig card which I've just cut down so that it's just wide enough to go through my big shot. I think that's about 6 inches wide. I have the Eastern Beauty stamps, Versamark ink and gold embossing powder. And I have the mini tassels assortment, and there are 3 colours of tassels. There's the gold, the fresh fig and the tranquil tide. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to be using, probably the gold, but I might go to the fresh fig. We'll just have to see how the project develops. I've got the offcuts from the fresh fig. I'm going to be maybe using those for stamping and die cutting. And I have the Eastern Gold vinyl stickers. And you get 2 of each sheet in the pack, so I've only got half of them. I'm going to use the window box thinlets dies, couldn't think what they were called for a moment, and the Eastern Medallions thinlets. Just gone ahead and scored my card and then found out that I'd forgotten to turn the camera on, so I'm going to pretend that this is an unscored piece of card and I'm going to do it again for you. So I'm going to score it on the short side at 1 3/4 and again at 4 3/4, and on the long side I'm going to score it at 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/4, 7, 8 3/4 and at 10 1/2. I've been over to the big shot and I've cut out 2 of these pieces from my fresh fig card. That's how I ran it through the big shot, and now I'm going to do some scoring on these pieces. Now I want to score 1 inch in from this edge, so I'm lining my my piece of card up with these pieces up against the butt edge there, and I'm just going to score 1 inch in from that side. To score my second piece, again with the tabs lined up against the square edge there, this one I'm going to score at 1 1/4 inches. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away this part here. So I'm going to use the scissors, but I want a nice clean line, so I'm going to use a craft knife. And I'm just going to slice that piece away. Now I'm not going to throw it away because I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it later on in the proceedings. I've taken some time to burnish all of my creases, and I'm now going to do some trimming away of bits that I don't want. So in these lower squares here, I don't want that bit. I don't want that bit. And I'm just going to trim that piece away. Now these are going to line up like that, so I don't need any of these pieces at all. So I'm just going to chop those away. But on this side, don't need that bit, but I do want this bit, so I'm just going to make it into a little tab. And on this piece, same thing again, I don't need any of this piece here, so I'm just going to chop that away along the fold line. Alright, so this is the shape that I have, and the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to glue these pieces together just along there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive on these 3 flaps. I am going to start to create the box. And this is why it's important to burnish things well before you start, because this is going together quite nicely for me. And last of all, I'm going to put some adhesive on that flap there and tuck that in, and that will create my box shape. On these two flaps, I'm going to glue them on the outside of the lid, not the inside. And I could put them on the inside, wouldn't really matter, but I find it's got a slightly neater look if I do it this way. And also it is a little bit easier. Because I can turn it over and I can do that. Now I don't need these two pieces here. I could leave them where they are, they wouldn't hurt, but I'm just going to chop them off just to reduce bulk a little bit. And all I'm going to do now is run some adhesive along each of these flaps, and I'm just going to fold them in carefully. Yeah. And I'm just going to give that some time to set up and dry, and I'm going to make the base of the box. So here is my piece of card which I've scored and folded and burnished, and I'm going to chop away some pieces that I don't need. So I don't need these skinny rectangles here at the top and the bottom, so I'm going to chop them away, and I'm just going to kind of just take a thin little sliver out of what's left, just like that. Okay, now these squares at the bottom, they all need to be separated, and same thing again, I'm just going to take a little skinny triangle out of either side. And the idea of that is it reduces bulk and it allows the whole thing to fit together a bit better. Okay, now the sizes of this box, this measurement and this measurement is kind of constrained by the actual size of the box lid. Okay, because if you wanted to fit the lid, you have to make it the right size to fit the lid. But it can be any length between these 2 points. It can be any length that you want it to be, as long as you've got card that's big enough to fit it. You just adjust the length of this bit here, and you can also adjust the length of this bit here, because that is just going to be a bit that folds over, so it doesn't have to be that deep. You could just make it 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to use tape for this part of it. Let's apply my tear and tape along the sides there. And just go ahead and close that up. Okay. And there's my shape. Now, I want to close this up so that opposite sides meet, and I'm going to use the box lid, which I've already made, to help me keep it to the shape I want. So let me see, where do I want the tape to be? I want some tape there, and those two will be next, so there, and then those two, so it will be there. Okay. And keep that in the lid so that it keeps its shape. And let's start putting this together. Pressing. And there's that piece. And last of all, that piece. I'll turn it over. Let's hit my ruler, and I'm going to squish down on the inside to make sure that those pieces are nice and secure, and they are. And then I'm just going to tuck these edges in, and where's my liquid adhesive gone? Here it is. So again, just run some adhesive along those flaps there. And just tuck it all in. Don't be afraid of it, just tuck it all in. It will go, it will behave itself, and there you go. And that gives you a nice folded edge onto the box and makes it look nice and professional and well constructed and well put together. While the adhesive's drying, let's start thinking about how we want to decorate this box. Now, do you remember that flap that I cut off when I was making the box lid? Well, I've trimmed off the extra pieces, the little flat pieces, and this is going to be the top of the lid of my box. So that's why I wasn't too bothered about the way it looked a little bit messy. And I'm going to use one of my Eastern Medallions dies to begin with. And I'm going to centre that on to my card there. Just going to hold it down with a little piece of I can't think of the word, low tack tape, that's the word I'm trying to think of. So I'm just kind of doing this by eye, and then I'm going to pop over to the Big Shot, and I'm going to run that through the Big Shot. And there it is. If I just take the tape away, as you can see, now it doesn't cut out all of the way. Just get rid of that piece there. Pick these up with my tape. Nice clean work area. It doesn't get rid of, it doesn't cut it all the way out of the card, so I can just raise these pieces, just like this. Okay, and that gives me a nice raised up effect there. Okay, so what else am I going to do? Well, I've got my vinyl stickers here, so let's use some of these, I think. So what shall we have in the center here? Just having a look what will fit, and of course because these are on a clear backing, I can play with these and put them where I like them. Do I like that one, or do I prefer that one? I think I prefer this one. So that will sit in the center of the box. Then if I bring back the box lid, which as you can see is pretty messy, but doesn't matter because we're just going to stick this right over the top. Just like that. We're going to try and not get adhesive where we don't want it. Oh, honestly, I'm a disaster. Let's shake that bit up. There we go. We're not going to obsess too much because, for one thing, the adhesive dries clear, and for another thing, we have our adhesive eraser. Okay. So that's sitting rather nice along there. Now the other thing that I want to use is I want to use some of these borders. So which ones do I like? I like these, I think. I ran another piece of the fresh fig through the Big Shot with that same dye that I used on the lid of the box, and as you can see it stays in the card, but I'm just going to release it from the card with my snips. I'm just going to go in between those little pieces, and it's quite easy to do, and I'm just going to snip that card and just that away. Come on. There we go. And that is now, that's released that medallion, and I am going to do some stamping on it. So first of all, embossing buddy, because it's quite warm here today and my hands are a little bit on the sweaty side. Won't lie to you. Okay. And the sentiment I've got is to think of you is to smile. And I've got my silicone mat underneath because this is a photopolymer stamp. And I'm lining it up pretty much where I want it. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take that away. Okay, so a little bit of my gold embossing powder over the top here. I'll give it some heat. So there it is, all nicely embossed, and I've popped a couple of dimensionals onto the back of it, and now I'm going to pop it onto the front of my box here. And I will be honest, I was going to put a tassel on it as well, but it was too long. So now I'm not. So I'm just going to put my die cut onto the front of the box, and I'm going to call that finished. And there is the finished box. Now, there were a few changes of design direction along the way, I'm not going to lie to you. One thing I do want to point out is that to finish off the bottom, I just die cut a circle of the fresh fig card just to fit over the bottom to make it nice and sturdy. So there it is, and I hope that you've enjoyed this project, and if so, then don't forget to comment, to like, to share and to subscribe to my channel. I will be posting more videos very, very soon, and if you want to hop on over to my blog or my Facebook page, details are below this video, then I would love it if you would go and visit me there and maybe leave me a picture of what you've been up to as well on my Facebook page. I'd really like that. But that is it for now, and thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that you'll be back to join me again soon. Bye bye.